what it do, party people.
Did you see my message in the Slack? I don't think you did.
No, I didn't. Can I read it aloud?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, it's gonna take a minute. All right. I will do this if I can find it real quick. Oh my gosh, it's not. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I sent it to you. Welcome into the pre-show for the pre-show. All right, and I know you're busy, so maybe you can't talk about this, but I'll bite.
Okay.
What is Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast? I have no idea.
I have seen this like name or thing around, and like there's a very like, is it a person?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
There's like now I've seen it like on a candy bar. Like I've seen this name on Twitter before, and I've been like, oh, that's a musical artist of some kind. And then like I've now seen it on like a candy bar, and there is a dude who keeps popping up with it, and I do not know if that is Senor Beast, but I have no idea who this guy. This guy like a beard. Do you see Beardy Guy?
Mr. Beast is an American YouTuber and entrepreneur.
Oh, it's a YouTuber thing.
Yeah, let's see.
I've seen and heard of this name.
James Stephen Donaldson.
So it is a person.
Yeah, he is born in 1998, so he's younger than I am. Known professionally as Mr. Beast or Jimmy Donaldson, is an American YouTuber, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He is credited with pioneering a genre of YouTube videos that centers on expensive stunts and challenges. With over 185 million subscribers, he's the most subscribed individual user on the platform and the second most subscribed channel overall.
So he's big. He's just like the biggest star on YouTube.
Yeah, he's ranked on Forbes' list of the highest paid YouTube creators since 2022.
Because I was on, I was going in, it was Saturday, or Friday rather, I was going into the gas station to get an irresponsible amount of caffeine to do the Bally Show, right? As I am wont to do. You've seen this happen. Mm-hmm. And there was like another, like a display of like, I guess this, James, just, and he is a very average looking dude. Like, that's why I was like shocked. I was like, normally like celebrities are like pretty good looking. Mm-hmm. And like, this is just a real average. Speaking as an average looking dude, like I'm not hating. I'm just saying that it's kind of weird to see like that on a billboard or whatever. And it was like selling like Mr. Beast bars.
Yeah. Feastables is what he's calling it. I'm on the Mr. Beast store right now. You can do Beast Active, which is like activewear, Beast Originals, tops, bottoms, all, or Feastables.
For a YouTuber?
Well, okay, so he has Mr. Beast milk chocolate bars, Mr. Beast milk chocolate crunch, the sampler pack, and then Mr. Beast D's Nuts, which is quite funny.
We deserve to be destroyed.
Mr. Beast D's Nuts. A 10-pack sells for $29.99.
What?
Apparently they're good. Okay, here we go. Do you want a description?
Yeah,
An explosion of chocolate peanut butter flavor. Creamy, dreamy milk from grass-fed cows. Only 7 ingredients made with organic cocoa. I'm not going to say... Okay, that's it. That's where the... If you would like to read the last sentence of the description of Mr. Beast D's Nuts bars,
I don't.
You can go to his website, Mr. Beast Store /product/D's Nuts with a Z on both.
Anyway, enough of that. It's time for another big segment here. Pickle, it's time for the NFL Minute with my mom. It's the NFL Minute, starring NFL insider, my mom. She emails last night, and I didn't even have to remind her, which means she's in, Pickle. We got her. Tep Mom NFL story. Going forward, I will make sure there's a Texas connection. This girl gets it. Like she's content. She's Mrs. Beast. Jack Fox. Detroit Lions, who beat the Falcons 20-6. He's the punter. In the game versus Atlanta, he had 6 punts, averaged 46 yards. 62 yards was his long. Very good punter.
Nice.
He's the highest paid punter in the NFL. He signed last year for 4 years at $3.75 million a year. Jack Fox, good punter. He's from St. Louis. That's another reason why, because my wife's from St. Louis. Went to Ladue Horton Watkins High School.
Okay.
And do you know where he went to college?
Where?
Rice.
How about?
He's a Rice grad. Says my mom. Smart guy.
So she literally hit like all your favorite things: punting, making money for punting, Texas, St. Louis, Rice.
Love you always, Mom. And that has been the NFL Minute. Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show online. Someone just signed up for a Subway account with my email.
That rules.
Someone in St. Paul, Minnesota. Is it Ish?
No, he's back, unfortunately. But that rules.
My name's Greg Tepper. They ordered a 6-inch buffalo chicken. My name's Greg. I got the receipt. My name's Greg Tepper. I don't think they charged me. Like, I don't think they have my credit card information. I think they just used my email, which is
you're just gonna rack up some Subway points in Minnesota.
Respect. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to us on podcasts, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dork. She's Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Do you know why it's Tuesday?
Tuesdays! Correct.
See, how do you forget?
Yeah, that's true.
Today is Tuesday, September 26th.
We had our staff meeting this morning, and I'm still used to Mondays.
We're over-meetinged.
Correct.
Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. It is 58 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Serena Williams.
Oh, nice. That rocks.
That's an actual goat.
Yeah. No, like legitimately.
Like an actual goat.
Yeah.
It is episode 1658. On today's show, folks, we're going to be joined here in just a moment by Erin Hogan. Erin Hogan is the host of Eyes on Texas, the Texas Longhorns podcast on the Republic of Football Podcast Network. We're going to talk about the number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns with a guy who knows that team inside and out. Erin Hogan will join us in just a moment. Then back half of the show, the Hall of Famer Craig Way will join us, as he always does here every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today. We'll talk high school football with him. And then back half of the show, the back half of the show, the back half of the back half of the show. Yeah. There's no halves. That's the problem.
No.
They're like thirds. It's like a hockey game.
Today is thirds. Sometimes it's like fourths. Sometimes it's like 14ths.
3 segments. It's the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week from Week 5 of the Texas high school football season. So stick around for all that fun. Do we have first 4 through the door?
We sure do. It was Evie Hill, Daniel Agnew, Ed McElroy, and Big Jiggly Water Balloons.
Let's go! What?
The fact that I've said that and D's Nuts on this podcast in one consecutive episode is in 5 minutes, honestly.
We're living there. Did you see, this is apropos of nothing, we had the NFL Minute with my mom earlier, right? Mm-hmm. Did you see we had 2 scoregamis this week?
Yes. I saw one of them.
So there was another one last night. 25-11 is the scoregami.
Yeah.
Or 24-11? Or whatever the final score of the first Monday night game was. Eagles and Bucks. It was 25-11. That's a scoregami. We had 2 because 70-20 was also one.
Yes.
Anyway, shout out John Boyce and scoregami. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football on the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Hope you'll consider going to texasfootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. 3 magazines, and a year's worth of exclusive online content at texasfootball.com, including the 2023 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising. There you go. Good. You get that. We're working on that right now, the recruiting edition of our magazine, so we hope you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. Thanksgiving is coming up, and so get your lover the gift of Dave Campbell's Texas Football for Thanksgiving. If you want to talk about a way to someone's heart, get them a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football for
Is Thanksgiving your version of Valentine's Day?
It is. It does. We need to bring
we
need to bring romance into Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know?
Seems right. I mean, I feel romantic every time I see a thing of green bean casserole.
And I'll just say that I think there's a lot that's like romantic about acknowledging that both of us need to go take a nap.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's awesome. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. It's time to talk a little Texas Longhorns football with the host of Eyes on Texas, the Texas Longhorns podcast on the Republic of Football Podcast Network. We're joined by our friend Erin Hogan. Erin, how are you?
Hey, guys. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you hopping on with us. I know you just got done talking for a long time on the radio, and so thanks for agreeing to talk some more. Texas is now the number 3 team in the nation. They are 4-0. They are, in a lot of ways, entering that kind of echelon where they're talked about in those hushed tones as far as what could be possible. From your perspective, from the outset of the season, I know there were big expectations, but is it surprising to you right now the way that Texas is being talked about?
Surprising, no. I mean, I think there were a lot of expectations through the summer that this team could and has put together a roster that should compete for the Big 12 championship. I mean, that was really the off-season conversation. We called it the all-gas, no excuses year for the Longhorns to make it to Arlington and win a Big 12 championship or certainly try to play for one. But the questions, Quinn Ewers, is he the quarterback that leads you there? Steve Sarkisian still hasn't, won a championship as a head coach. Is this roster and this team ready to be mature enough to play week to week and put themselves in that position? I think the month of September so far has checked a lot of boxes for people that this team's got a lot of substance to it. It's a really good mix of veteran players. What we always talk about on the Eyes on Texas and on my show here in Austin is, there are a lot of guys that came back this year for this roster that are never going to play in the SEC. This is it for them. And, they're providing a lot of leadership. I mean, I'm talking about Christian Jones, a right tackle, who's a 6-year player who could have, put his name in the draft last year. Jordan Whittington, Jalen Ford, the linebacker, was told he had a pretty good grade for the draft last year after his great year last year. And it goes on and on. There's a lot of guys. Devondre Sweat could have gone into the draft last year, but came back. So I think they have a really nice nucleus of veteran leaders who aren't worried about the SEC. They're not worried about the future. They're really just worried about this season and maximizing this season for, leaving a legacy for the last season of the Big 12. And, the Longhorns won the first ever Big 12 in the mid-'90s, and they haven't won enough Big 12 championships for Longhorn fans, and I think for anybody that's paying attention, but to win the first and the last and finish would be strong. So I think they're getting great leadership. I think the young guys that have been infused into that, Sark's just done a great job of building depth on this team through recruiting, the portal, bringing people back. They haven't lost a lot of guys that normally or in a lot of other programs might have jumped into the portal. I think of a guy like Jonathan Brooks, the running back who's blown up here the last couple of days. He's a guy who played behind Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson after he got here from Hallettsville. And then all of a sudden Texas recruits C.J. Baxter, a 5-star kid from Florida, and he's running second team to him. This day and age, a lot of guys would have jumped out of here, and he did not. And C.J. has been hurt first couple of games, and he has just taken off, and I think he's established himself as the lead running back for Texas moving forward. So there's a lot of substance to it. The win at Alabama was huge to really build confidence in that locker room. And then, now we're to the next step where it's, can they play week to week? The Wyoming game was a little, kind of a letdown because they didn't play great against Wyoming for 4 quarters. But then last week up in Waco in another hostile environment, they just played great and really outclassed Baylor in every possible way. So, sure, a lot of excitement, and now 2 big games coming against the only other 2 ranked teams in the Big 12.
And I know that is, you go back to last week against Baylor. That felt like such a thorough dismantling of a Bears team that is struggling right now, plain and simple. I don't think there's really any doubt about it. And I would say, and certainly you're closer to the program than I am, I think that the word on Texas has been, yeah, you can get up for these big games, but the week to week, and when you're playing a team that you're a lot better than, maybe you go and you play with your food. And I think that was the concern coming out of the Wyoming game. Did the performance against Baylor, which felt comprehensive in a lot of ways, did that alleviate a lot of the fears maybe among the Texas fan base that, oh no, this could be just another kind of letdown year for the Longhorns?
I think it did. And I think, the thing I'll say about that is that this defense has played great every game. They've been outstanding. The Alabama game, they gave up a couple of big explosive plays over the top. They've got some issues at safety and coverage that I think teams that they're going to have to shore up, but they're deep back there. But I think my read on this team so far through 4 games, if you're going to play that kind of defense and win the line of scrimmage as thoroughly as they do, have a Jalen Ford in the middle who's playing at an All-American level, and then the secondary's deep. If you're going to play that kind of defense, and then no matter how good they've played or consistent they've been on offense, Greg, they have a 21-point quarter in every game. They've had, the Rice game was the third quarter, the Bama game and the Wyoming game were the fourth quarter. The Baylor game, it was the second quarter. This team has an explosivity to it where all of a sudden you feel like you're in the game, and then bang, 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 they go on 3 straight drives and the game's over. So to have a 21-point quarter and all 4 wins kind of tells you if they get this offense into a consistent place that they're going to be really hard to beat because they're going to score a lot of points with this offense and Sark and Quinn getting more comfortable. And this defense isn't going to give up a lot. And you feel like that's going to be the most consistent part of this team. That's a pretty good recipe to alleviate those concerns of a letdown. But certainly they got to bring it every week. I mean, they've got to, take each week as it's a new mission, right? As they were talking about this week, this is our mission this week is to focus on Kansas. And that's why I started with the veterans. I think, the locker room is going to make sure that's the case. And so far, so good for Texas.
Erin Hogan of the Eyes on Texas podcast, the Republic Football Podcast Network, joining us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TFToday. Erin, the offense came in with a lot of hype and a lot of hullabaloo, and it has lived up to that. And then some. You mentioned the 21-point quarter they've gone on in each of their games. I am curious if there has been a surprise on that offensive side. I think we knew, Xavier Worthy, not a surprise. We thought he was going to be pretty good. Quinn Ewers, certainly the consistency I think has been a pleasant surprise there. Is there somebody or some aspect of this offense that has you saying, oh, I didn't necessarily see that coming in a positive way?
Well, I just alluded to Jonathan Brooks. I think that would be the one that, he played behind Bijan and Roschon for so long. And I know you guys covered him at Hallettsville, where he was the bell cow on a small school that went to a state championship. He's just a hard-working dude. I think he's been a great surprise because the question for me for this team coming into the year was who was going to replace that rushing production. When you lose 2 running backs of that caliber to the NFL, your offense was built around that, and everything else came from there. This team's going to be built a little bit more around the passing game. But in Steve Sarkisian's offense, you still want to have a power running game. They still want to have play action. And, who is that going to be? So I think a little bit of a surprise there that Brooks has played so well. He closed out the Alabama game where they just ran the ball and never had to punt the ball back to Bama with that 10-point lead. He, then followed that up with a huge game against Wyoming when the passing game was really out of sync. That Wyoming had a great defensive scheme for that game. They just ran the ball. And then, of course, we saw what he did against Baylor. With the speed. So he's been a really good surprise. I think the key to the offense for me, Greg, is the tight end, Jatavion Sanders. I think he is the fulcrum that makes them potentially, if they continue to develop and get better, the offense can be unstoppable because Sark uses so many personnel packages and groups, whether he goes heavy with 3 offensive linemen or they go empty with multiple and spread everybody out. But JT Sanders never has to leave the field in that. He can be a part of the heavy package. He can be a part of the 12 package, 11 package, spread it out. He's just that dynamic. And so whatever grouping or formation you want to go with, he's on the field, and he just creates a matchup, right? If a linebacker's on him, he can beat it. If it's a defensive back, he's too big and athletic and making one-handed catches, and then he can also block pretty good. So in the run game, you can still line up and run the football, whether it's out of 11 personnel or 12. So I think really for me, he's the key. I mean, he's the one that I think gives defensive coordinators nightmares of figuring out what to do with, because he's so big and so athletic, and he's the matchup problem while you have all the other problems you got to deal with.
This weekend, Saturday 2:30, Kansas state ranked or nationally ranked Kansas comes to town, 24th ranked, and this is a program that has I think brings up some bad memories to Texas fans.
Sure.
Noticeably 2021 and 2016. Texas, I don't think this is a real a hot opinion, but they look like the better team. What are you going to be watching for in this game Saturday to make sure that Texas takes care of business?
I think you're right about the bad memories, without a doubt, because there was also the 2 losses, but also Tom Herman had a game with Kansas that they had to survive in overtime. So it's one of those scary teams that, the year they won the last time they were in DKR 2 years ago, that was their only win over an FBS team. So yeah, there's some memories about that. But as far as this game, I mean, they're both so much better than they were 2 years ago. I mean, that's why it's such a fun game to talk about, because Texas is light years roster-wise, talent-wise, everything we've talked about already from that team. That was really the bottoming out point in Steve Sarkisian's first year, and kind of cleaned house after that. I kind of realized everybody that was on board and those that were not, and that was the clear game for that. But then this game, it's really about I just mentioned how consistent the Texas defense has been. This is a real challenge. I think Texas right now and Kansas are they're the 2 offenses in the Big 12 that have the best clear identity of what they are and what they want to be. And, Jay, this might be one of the few games Texas plays this year, where the quarterback advantage is probably with Kansas, because Jalen Daniels is so dynamic, and he's a veteran player, and Quinn Ewers is going to make his 14th start. That guy's really good. So, and Lance Leipold's system, much like Sark's does to opponents, it really tests you in a lot of ways. You've got to stop couple of running backs, the receivers, maybe 2 quarterbacks will play. So this is one where, I mean, I saw the odds makers have it as a over under 66 or something like that. So they're expecting some points. So I'm looking to see the chess match between the Kansas offense and then Pete Kwiatkowski and the Texas defense. I do expect them to, score some points. Same time, they've got to be able to stop Texas too. So lots of light, but really looking forward to seeing how PK handles this team and deals with that, all the weaponry Lance Leipold has. And I think the Kansas defense is a little bit better this year than people are giving them credit for. They're improved on that side of the ball. He's
Erin Hogan. You can hear him on the Horn, 6 to 11 a.m. With our friend Rod Papers, and you can hear him on Eyes on Texas, on the Dave Campbell's Republic Football Podcast Network. Erin, appreciate your time, and enjoy the game on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that new edition that we recorded last night of the podcast and multicast should be out today at some point, so be looking for it.
Go look for it. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you all.
There he goes, Erin Hogan of the Eyes on Texas podcast on the Republic Football Podcast Network. That's a professional. Makes us look like amateurs.
Correct.
That guy knows.
Most people do.
But that is, I think that this is, and you're somebody that I know your family has some Texas ties. Mm-hmm. I know Kansas causes you to go, huh.
Oh, every time. It's really the whole state of Kansas, because Lord K-State. Knows they can't win in Manhattan and Kansas. But the thing about Kansas was they always play down to their competition, and Kansas historically has been butt in football. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel a little bit better knowing Kansas isn't absolute trash, because you would think that the Longhorns wouldn't plummet all the way down there, but they always overlooked Kansas, and that's when they get you.
This might be the best Kansas team they've had since that 07 year where they ran all the way to the Big 12 championship game.
And it's funny the Orange Bowl, right? I feel better about Texas playing a nationally ranked Kansas than I do them being 0-4.
I think there's a real argument to be made. This is the best Texas team since probably that 2010 national title game run. So, big game. Texas is the better team. That's not – I don't think I'm going on a limb here.
No. Oh, absolutely
Texas is the better team.
On paper, I think on the field, but –
At home, at DKR, right?
Yeah. Mentally, don't mess this one up. Mm-hmm. That's all it takes.
Especially considering who's next week.
Yep. That's literally all it takes. Don't mess this one up.
Next week's OU. and don't get caught looking. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we appreciate Erin Hogan. That new episode of Eyes on Texas coming to the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football Podcast Network feed. Go subscribe right now. We're at Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, Ashley Pickle will confront Craig Way live on the air. But first, a word from these goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose, come on. Get on up. Oh yeah. Get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. We continue our wall-to-wall coverage of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift by bringing in an expert. We're pleased to be joined by the Hall of Famer Craig Way, who I know dedicated multiple segments yesterday on the Craig Way Show to the topic. Craig, do you read me?
I almost got all the way through my daily show without a mention of those two until my producer brought it up 10 minutes before going up. You would have to do that.
Man, that's the 18th green. You'll leave the putt short. That's it's tough. You're almost there.
So close.
Oh, wow.
So close when it happened. It's running out of gas a mile to the finish line at the Indy 500.
It's tough. It's a tough thing. Let's talk a little Texas high school football, Craig. Last week, we entered the week looking at a number of kind of make or break games for a couple of teams, especially state ranked teams. And my take, and I know we mentioned this on Scoreboard on Friday night, my take on it was when you took a look at the big results from Friday night, it was a great night to be a defensive coordinator and the kind of guy. If you're the kind of person who watches a football game and you like 20-14, it seemed like Friday night, at least at the really top of the table type games, those seemed like your kind of night.
You know, my former co-host Jeff Howe, who you know really well, and also is really closely affiliated with a lot of the Dave Campbell's Texas football recruiting scene, says that in his hometown of Florence, Texas, where high school football is kind of lean these days, he says there's guys that'll sit down there at a little convenience store in a back room and sit there and I won't say place a wager, but they will say how they feel that some high school football games are going to go over or under. And I will say this, they must have had a field day last weekend. with all those games. With Fort Bend Marshall and PNG, they must have been turning cartwheels with 7-zip on that one, because you don't get that very often. You're more likely, I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong, I think you're more likely to get Liberty Hill Hutto 82-80 on a given Friday night than you are 7-0, based on the way offensives have gone and the way that the game is played now. I'm glad we don't have too much of either one or the other, but it's nice to see it sprinkled in from time to time.
Let's put it. I'll put it to you this way. Last year there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 15 games that had 7 or fewer points scored. And there were significantly more than that had more than 110 points scored. So I think that you're right. Without doing some quick back of the envelope math, that seems correct. I want to go back to the game that we talked about a lot last week, which was Lake Travis and Westlake, and Westlake pulls out a 20-14 win over their rival. What are your real takeaways from that game? Specifically because I think we knew that both defenses looked like they were on the good foot. Do you take away that these are two good defenses? Do you take away that these are two offenses that have some work to do? Do you take away both? What are you gleaning from this one?
Well, you've heard me use this comparison before. When you're looking at it defensively and offensively, this is Winnie the Pooh being invited to lunch at Rabbit's house, and he says, "Do you want honey or condensed milk with your bread?" And he says, "Both." And then he says, "But don't bother about the bread." So what I came away from that game thinking was that these are two programs, traditional powers, of course, with Arlington caliber defenses that can get them to Arlington. However, I don't know that either has Arlington caliber offense right now. Not say it won't happen. We're, after all, just at the cresting the halfway point of the regular season. The defenses are made to look better if the offenses aren't quite that far along. And I think the answer is somewhere in between, a sliding scale there for both Westlake and Lake Travis. Obviously, they'll both be in the playoffs. Obviously, they'll both be Region 4 threats. I think it's all but a given that they're both going to be in Division 1. I mean, only Del Valle can prevent that from happening if they get in. Otherwise, Westlake's definitely going to be in D1. And we know Lake Travis is in D1. They have the largest enrollment in 26-6A. So, there'll be threats, but do they have enough offense to hang with, say, if they get to a semifinal in the North Shore, or maybe somebody else out of Region 4? That's the unanswered question right now. But what is, I think, apparent is that both have really good defenses.
Craig Wade, Texas Football Hall of Famer, join us every Tuesday. We're here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Let me stay in the Austin area and let me stay with those two teams, because let me throw out an opinion and have you try it on for size. Lake Travis and Westlake are not. Neither of them are the best team in Austin this year. But in fact, Vandegrift is the best team in Austin this year. It's been a long time since the best team in Austin wasn't either LT or Westlake. And yet, the more I look at this, the more I wonder if it's not the Vipers who would take the cake in the capital city.
Good enough to beat both and to go the distance. Drew Sanders would probably be the first to tell you, give me a couple more weeks. Let me see what this, how they do in district play. They had a manageable, not bad, but manageable non-district schedule. And I think they are one of the best teams. And where I'm curious to see is if they go D1 or D2, because if they go D1, it's going to be really, really crowded there in Region 4 out of the greater Austin area, because you're going to have a bi-district matchup in all probability of Vandegrift against Lake Travis, or possibly against Westlake if there were a couple of stumbles along the way. And we almost saw that last year. And Vandegrift wound up going D2 because of some things that happened on the final Friday night of the regular season. That might not happen this year, and we'll have to keep an eye on teams like Vista Ridge, and we'll have to keep an eye on teams like Westwood to see if they get in and tip the scale a little bit one way or the other about Vandegrift. But they're good enough, absolutely, to hang with both of those teams, if not beat them both.
Well, it's the meanest thing we do to each other each week, and it's asking you to pick one game to go to. Week 6 is a light week, relatively. There's only 515 games across the state. I'll give you 3. You can only teleport to one of them. Do you teleport to Brownwood for the Battle of 377 between Stephenville and Brownwood? Do you teleport to Columbus for Madisonville and Columbus? Or do you teleport to Gale, Texas for a matchup of unbeatens in the 6-man ranks as Abbott visits Borden County?
Boy, they each have great appeal. Stephenville, Brownwood, great tradition, great history, and great chicken fried steak all along that route. The Columbus Hallettsville, not Hallettsville, the Columbus Madisonville matchup, I think is probably the one I'd lean toward. But that 6-man thing is a top 10, and it could be back-to-back weeks of 6-man top 10 matchups there, obviously for Abbott. Now, did they move that game from Gale? I thought I'd read or heard somewhere they were going to play that game in Zephyr. Or are you seeing Gale? In any event, it's going to be a great game, no matter where it's played. And
that game is at Zephyr. I apologize. Yes,
it's where?
It's at Zephyr. You got it right.
Okay, all right. Great facility, by the way, there at Zephyr for 6-man. But I'd probably lean toward Madisonville, Columbus. We're not getting many highbrow non-district games now. The teams are settling in the district play now. So, and in a higher classification, I know it's non-district in that 6-man game, but in a higher classification, there are scant few, especially on a weekend where there are scant few games, period. I was really kind of worried about you, Tep, there, the way you were grousing on social media about the, veritable dearth of football to be had this weekend. I was a little concerned that you were going to be, angry old man shaking his fist at the clouds about this weekend.
Don't keep me from a good time. I'll grouse with the best of them. I do want to, before we let you go, I need to check on you. I know Pickle and I have been pretty worried about you because of what happened Friday night with Kearns 36 and Itasca 31 as the Wampus Cats get knocked from the ranks of the unbeatens. Are you doing okay?
I am. I think there's something to be encouraged about there about the progress of the Wampai. They've had so many lean seasons, and to stand toe to toe, Jerry Forrest had it pegged, and he had the number. I think he had Kearns winning by 4, and they won by 5. So I think he had Westlake winning by 6. They won by 6. Jerry was right on it. The computer was right on board with it. So we'll follow him and see. The Big I has turned its fortunes around, I think, and I think we definitely will see them in the postseason.
He's Craig Way. He's the Texas High School Ball Hall of Famer and the state's #1 Itasca Wampus Cats supporter. Catch him on the Craig Way Show today, 2 to 4 on AM 1300 The Zone in Austin. Craig, appreciate your time, my friend, and I will talk to you this afternoon.
Let me tell you this. Itasca is doing much better than my eponymously named Wampus Cat fantasy football team, which is 0-3.
Oh, it's tough. Oh, man. We can turn it around, though. It's early in the season. It's early days yet, Craig. We can do it.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers ain't walking back through that door, folks.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
See ya.
There he goes, Craig Way with the Fantasy Football Minute here on Texas Football Today.
We keep adding minutes.
I also love that there was no doubt that his fantasy football name was named after a high school football mascot, right? That was the lock of the year.
Yeah, yes.
Like, I'm sure he just picks one, and like next year it'll be like the Tarpons or something, or the Saber Cats.
Nothing will be as good as the Wampus Cats, though.
It is. It's pretty good.
Not in his heart.
Anyway, we appreciate Craig White hopping on with us. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at TCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in a moment, the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. But first, let's find out who won the Ozarka Fueled by Nature Team of the Week award.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in partnership with Ozarka, is proud to honor one team from each classification with the Ozarka Fueled by Nature Team of the Week Award. The teams selected throughout the course of this program have exemplified the best in Texas high school football. Congratulations to this week's recipients of the Ozarka Fueled by Nature Team of the Week Award. We salute you. For more information, visit texasfootball.com.
We have an update. Sources close to Dave Campbell's Texas Football tell Dave Campbell's Texas Football that Abbott and Borden County will be played at Gordon on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Thursday at Gordon. Please update your Palm Pilot. It's Abbott and Borden County at Gordon, 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. And now, Pickle, it's time for the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. Our friends at Texan Live scour the internet, put together the top 10 plays, and here's what they come up with for Week 5.
They've already forced 2 for Trey Owens tonight. Can they get another one here? Owens looks, fires, end zone. Oh, and it's caught. How about that jump ball? Owen Carter for his 2nd touchdown tonight.
3rd and 11. Kay goes in motion. It's going to be a backwards pass to Kay. He wants to throw. Has a man open with a step. What a throw from Kay! And it's a touchdown for Laporte. Willits rolling near side looking to throw. Colin Willits fires down the field. Man open, it is caught by Andrew Marsh. Making a man miss. Andrew Marsh into the end zone. Touchdown, Jordan.
That is the wrong guy you want to leave wide open there, let me tell you.
41 yards from Willits to Andrew Marsh. To lead the Wildcats offense. Fake a speed sweep. Martin over the middle. Catch is made. That's Rodriguez again. Breaks a tackle inside the 20, inside the 10, and he will score.
Hampton in motion. They'll give it to one. They'll keep it on a read option. Now a toss out to Hampton. And he's across the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown again. So the pitch to Hampton.
2nd down and goal. Russell to the fade, to the end zone. More jump ball. What can he do? An incredible catch as he goes skying into the air. And
in motion. Group looking to throw. Fires into the corner. Beavers goes up. Gets it. Touchdown, Cougars! One of the better catches you will see in high school football, ladies and gentlemen.
So back here to open up the 4th quarter. It's going to be a 3rd and goal here for Kirbyville. Huffman flush to the far side. Now going to spin around. Here's Jace Huffman getting out of a sack. Huffman fires. End zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Kirbyville. Are you kidding me?
Mascarenas zips it over to Micah Hudson on a screen. He makes the guy miss with a beautiful spin move. He put him in the washer, and Micah Hudson, pucker up, baby. He's going all the way. I got to say, that was a great play by him.
And 11 from the 39. Clance steps up, going to go deep. Into double coverage. It is caught. Are you kidding me? It is caught by Keyshawn Monroe. A stiff arm breaks him free inside the 20. Takes defenders with him to the end zone for the touchdown. What in the world was that?
There it is, the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week, as assembled by our friends at Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Pickle's their boss. She makes them do that.
That actually was a factual statement.
There you go. Appreciate them putting that together. You can find that on our YouTube page, youtube.com/DaveCampbellsTF. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's 2nd favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
If you don't know this, but with TexanLive.com, all of the games are available for VOD, video on demand. If you're a subscriber, TexanLive.com/subscribe or TexasFootball.com/subscribe, because our subscription package is one and the same. You get all of them. But if you ever miss any of the games or want to go back and watch plays like that, you can do that at literally any point in time.
So you're saying that I can go back right now and watch the Lake Travis Westlake game?
Yes, absolutely. Or the Lake Travis Westlake game from last year. They're available on demand for as long back as we go. So
how about that?
Go watch.
Go to TexanLive.com, become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks to Erin Hogan of Eyes on Texas on the Republic Football Podcast Network, and to the Hall of Famer Craig Way for being our guests. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.